I am not currently logged into the channel. Give me 2 seconds. Hub, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. I just had to mute my mic real quick. Uh,
Yep.
like we both know, with both of us, there be noise sometimes, so it's okay.
Yeah. Especially me. But my kid shouldn't be here today, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and anytime you hear me like I'm cut out, I'm still here. I'm probably just muting my mic to prevent it from getting into the stream.
Yeah.
All right, so I made a tweet. Nobody's in yet. Let me see.
Well, the only person that joined, if one's watching, it's me. Is two watching.
There's 2 watching right now. Well,
Yep.
hopefully that tweet went out. Let me see. Make sure that I didn't
Four watching.
that I didn't actually do it. All right. So I think we got enough. People are gonna come in here. People are gonna come in. So
Yep.
what's up? What's up, guys? It's your boy Noname, aka Kush, back at it with another live stream. What's up? Kevin Cronin is in the chat, and today I have with me, uh, OGR Sports, OGR from OGR Sports, One Giant Rebuttal, the guy with the strongest opinions out on here. Welcome on OGR. We got Kevin in the chat, Lestat, Andy Garcia, Tony. How you guys doing, man? Welcome in and welcome OGR.
Welcome. Thanks for having me, man. It was kind of like not a spur of the moment thing, but I kind of suggested it, and you were like, "Yeah, let's do it." I'm like, "Okay, let's do it."
Exactly.
So yeah, here we are.
I mean, why not? I mean, there's not exactly like we're doing anything else right now. It's kind
Yeah.
of
Very true. Very true.
we talked about it before we came on live, and I'm sure the viewers know. Well, news been dry, man. News has been dry all around, but we still find ways to get to talk about some. And OGR actually, the first topic we're gonna address when we get into it was suggested by OGR. You want to explain it a little bit before we actually get into it?
So if everybody's living under a rock, Kyle Brandt, which apparently I was living under a rock because I didn't see it till Monday. Kyle Brandt last week, an NFL Network personality, he's on Good Morning Football on NFL Network, suggested that basically for Daniel Jones to be a successful playoff team, for Daniel Jones to be successful in his second year, the Giants need to be a playoff team, and essentially he needs to carry us and be in the MVP running. And then he goes on and says, well, Mitch Trubisky did it in his second year. Well, Jared Goff did it in his second year. Well, Carson Wentz did it in his second year. And Pat Mahomes did it in his second year. And do you want your first crack at the rebuttal, or do you want me to crack at it?
You crack at it, then I'll come in and say what's up with my thoughts.
All right. So first off, starting with the quarterbacks he compared. Patrick Mahomes inherited an already playoff team. Basically,
completely
Patrick
agree.
Mahomes, in his second season in the NFL, because he obviously had one start in his rookie year and stood behind Alex Smith, that's all he needed to do was play as good as Alex Smith, and he already had a playoff team. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's not hard to play in the NFL, but a quarterback with Patrick Mahomes' talent, I mean, it's not hard to sit there. Eagles, they had a buildup of talent. Okay? Yeah, Carson Wentz didn't have a great rookie season, but the talent was there. We can all name the guys on that defense, on that offensive line, and each one of these quarterbacks have a much better offensive line than Daniel Jones is dealing with, even now, because we don't know what the Giants are going to be in 2020. You look at Mitch Trubisky. He had a great defense. Is Daniel Jones dealing with a great defense like
Our
Mitch
defense
Trubisky?
is the biggest, weakest part of our team right now.
Exactly. And then last but not least, Jared Goff. Carried by a very good running game, very good wide receivers. I believe Brandon Cook was there. And again, a good defense carried by Donaldson. We don't anybody, or Aaron Donald, sorry. We don't anybody close to Aaron Donald. Most teams don't have anybody close to Aaron Donald. So it's like, I don't know what Kyle Brandt was thinking. I hate hot takes. I believe you can be entertaining and tell the truth. So let's get your take on it.
I agree with you. And real quick to the chat, Giants Freak, thank you for the compliment. He said, Hub is killing it, putting in mad work, especially with the rest of the YouTube community. Great channel collab. Thank you so much, man. I mean, all these guys in the Giants community been killing it, man. We all put in hard work, and it's for you guys. You guys are the best community out there. You support whatever we do, and I do thank you all for that. And to what yeah.
I meant not to cut you off. Far and away the best community on YouTube. As far as all the other sports teams, Giants community has everybody blown out. You see Eagles fans always going at each other's throats. Dallas Cowboy fans going at other throats. Even if we're going at each other's throats, we find some way somehow to collab on a friggin' roundtable and
Yeah,
put our
that's the
differences
best example
aside.
right there. That's the best example right there. And then that round table was extremely entertaining and fun to be on for us and for everybody watching.
Absolutely, my friend.
And
But
so
getting back to your take on what Kyle Brandt had to say.
exactly. So now I watched the vid. I watched a little bit of it before we got on. So I'm still a little bit fresh on it, but I don't think my opinion is going to change, to be honest. From what I saw, right, and it's very interesting. Part of the argument, and it's just part of it, that Kyle Brandt used to make this ridiculous claim is what I've been using to say Daniel Jones is going to take a step forward. So I want to address that because I do know people are going to bring it up in the comments or something saying, like, you know, we're only cool with these takes if it supports our interest or something like that. You basically get what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
Because the same thing he said with quarterbacks taking a step forward their second year, I agree with that. Quarterbacks do take a step forward in their second year. I expect Daniel Jones to take a step forward his second year. The past 5 years or so, it's what's happened in the NFL. You look at Carson Wentz. I wouldn't say Mitch Trubisky because I think we all know Trubisky is not that guy at this point. You know, you look at Mahomes, you look at Lamar Jackson. I expect it to happen. Now, what I don't expect to happen, and what I agree with you with wholeheartedly, is us being a playoff team and putting failure on Daniel Jones' name if he's not a playoff team. To me, that's Kyle Brandt saying, hey, yo, listen, I'm going to say this hot take to pretend like I'm supporting this dude so that when he falls flat on his face or he fails, I can then go back to doing what the media does best, and that's degrading and talking trash about the Giants and, Daniel Jones. You know what's up? I think that's what he was really getting at here. Called conspiracy theory if you want. The media hates the Giants, but it's completely unrealistic to expect that from a team who really the only good part that we have right now is our special teams that's been killing it for the past 3 years. Our offense, when healthy, and that's the key word, right? When healthy, it's not always. It's when healthy they can click and be a top 10 team. And an offensive line, even though I believe they've been fixed, they'll have to show that they're fixed. And the defense is, you already know, the defense is just trash. And we got OGR in the chat, yo. He has a clone out here with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, OGR. You're talking with me right now. He says, you're the man. Keep up the great work. Of course, man. You're also the man, and you need to keep up that work as well. So, yeah, that's what I got to say to it. Real quick to the chat. Owen Andreas, what's up? How you doing? Deception, welcome in. And Lemuel Sinclair, a great supporter of all of us, welcome in. So that's like my initial thoughts on it, OGR.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree 100%. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to. To me, as long as the Giants improve and Daniel Jones improves, and I don't care how much he improves, even if it's just a little bit, work your way up to that quarterback. Because most of all these quarterbacks that we're talking about, minus Carson Wentz and minus Patrick Mahomes, the other two have taken a step back, and these guys are a bad year or two, being removed from their teams, and these teams seeking another quarterback. Now, it might be crazy to think taking Jared Goff, number one overall with the Rams, a handful of years ago. Yeah, it'd be crazy to do that, but not to me. He has another stinker of a year. What are you going to do with Sean McVay? You're not going anywhere, and you have a quarterback, and Jared Goff has proven, even in the Super Bowl year, he can't get it done when crunch time happens.
Jared Goff, and I'm completely fine with getting into this rabbit hole. Jared Goff is really interesting, right? I feel like who would you really put in that 2016 quarterback draft class to be worth the number one overall pick? I don't think any of them are worth the number one overall pick.
I think Carson, minus the injuries, Carson Wentz is. I think Carson Wentz has shown enough.
I'm telling you what. If you say minus the injuries, I'm saying 2017 minus the injuries. Because we've seen, 2019 minus the injuries, and he was nowhere near what he was in 2017. So
he wasn't nowhere near, but he was still a good starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. I will give him that.
But would you say
vote of the best quarterback right now in the NFC East, and I'm not trying to really talk over you, but if we're taking the best quarterback in the NFC East right now,
yeah,
you're gonna say Carson Wentz.
I'm gonna say Wentz when healthy for sure.
And that's what I'm getting at. And yes, we're in a weak division. Yes, we're not in the best quarterback division. But at the end of the day, I have no problem giving my hats off to a quality quarterback in the NFL because I don't think you need a Patrick Mahomes, an Aaron Rodgers, a Dan Marino to win a Super Bowl.
I
Because
agree
I've
with
watched
you.
Jeff Hostetler win one. I've watched Nick Foles win one. Like you don't you need a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over, can get the ball downfield when asked to keep that deep threat alive and move the chains and make those big first downs. You don't have to be big and flashy like an Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes to get the job done in the NFL.
I
That's
agree
just my
with you. And by the way, guys, let me know if OGR's volume is good enough because sometimes the volume with my guest kids, sometimes it's too low, sometimes it's too high. Let me know about that. And what you just said about you don't need a flashy quarterback and also respecting good quarterback play when you recognize it, whether it's your rival or not, is kind of what I'm going to use to argue in somebody that I really don't like, but I have to respect them in a Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott, who was also in that 2016 draft, and this is maybe a hot take. He is more worthy of that number one overall pick than Goff or Wentz. Not when Wentz is healthy, but because of the fact that we know Wentz is injury prone. He's getting an injury year in year out. Something's wrong with him, right? Availability being the best ability, and Dak has always been available, and he's definitely outperformed. He's not a fourth round pick anymore. I'm sure he's going to be a first round pick. What I'm saying is, out of those three guys, he's probably the most worthy to be a first overall pick. He matches what you said. He doesn't necessarily have that big flashy arm, but he needs to be able to get it down there when asked. Dak does check that. He's obviously out of all three of them. I think he's the safest in terms of he doesn't turn the ball over that much. And I don't like
He
I don't
definitely
like
doesn't have the fumbling issues the
he
other two
does.
do.
He does. And I don't like Dak. I think everybody knows that I don't like Dak. But out of those three guys, I would probably say him.
All right. Well, I appreciate to know that my volume's good. Also, football talk. Actually, if you want that question answered, watch the Hubs video about an hour before we went live
I'm
talking about it.
I think it's gonna be maybe like a week or so. But that's if I don't know. I would say a week because the NFL doesn't like to lose money. And if you want a little bit more on that, maybe we'll get into it later in the stream. But yeah, thank you for plugging the vid, OGR. Go check out the video.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I got no problem plugging you on your own channel.
But yeah,
But
like
yeah, but man, I really do respect all the stuff you're doing. I mean, those super chats really mean, I don't mind giving my hard-earned money to you because you certainly deserve it, and I know that's, going to be well used going to the channel. Hell, I don't give a shit if you buy books for college or whatever, man. Keep up the good work.
thank you so much, man. It means a lot. The fact that anybody, not just you, anybody watching my channel will give their money to me means a lot. So thank you very much.
And then, so the other thing we were kind of talking about before the stream, the onside kick rule.
Yeah. So this is something that OGR brought up to me that I actually don't know much about. So for those of you that might not be subscribed to his channel, first and foremost, go into into the description. There's a link there. Click on it. Help get this man to 1,000 subs. Help him grow his channel and his Twitter following because he's about to give you a little preview what you can get over there. Because like I said, I don't know much about it. OGR, would you explain this rule that you're talking about?
All right. So the rule that tabled yesterday, meaning it didn't have enough votes to pass and be to actually come into the rule book, is they want the onside kick they view as a dangerous thing, and they obviously so-called care about player safety. So instead of having the onside kick, what the team could opt to do instead of an onside kick is go for a 4th and 15. If they convert the 4th and 15, obviously they get the ball. They can continue to move. If they don't, I believe the other team, and somebody in the chat correct me if I'm wrong, the other team will get the ball on your 25.
Oh, wait, what? Explain the
I
first
could be
part
wrong
again?
about that.
Explain the first
But
part
I know
again?
obviously the other team would get the ball. I mean, obviously there wouldn't be any kickoff. I don't know exactly where the other team would get the ball.
What it
But
kind of sounds
I don't
like.
mind the 4th and 15. I know not everybody's crazy about that, but to me, I mean, what would you rather do? Right? Try and convert an onside kick where the ball can bounce anywhere, and if it goes out of bounds, you got no shot. Or would you rather, I don't know, try and do a 4th and 15? I believe the odds on a 4th and 15 is a lot better than trying to get an onside kick.
Oh, for sure. And the odds in 4th and 15 in general aren't even that good, but definitely better than an onside kick. Real quick, shout out to OTB Mods tuning in. We got Hot Take Hockey in the house and New York Mets, New York Giants. What's up to all of you? So yeah, this rule, it doesn't. What it reminds me of is what the XFL did with their like kickoffs and punts and whatnot. I think with the NFL, if they really want to change something, and like you said, they quote unquote care about player safety, if they really did, they would do what the XFL had, which is that they replaced it or they altered it to a point where it was a lot safer, like no running starts and whatnot. And then with the how many players actually get injured on an onside kick, right? That's kind of what this whole rant has been kind of building up to. They don't get injured on onside kicks or get hurt on onside kicks. They get hurt on regular punts and regular kicks, and nothing's being done about that. Like, I mean,
Well, a little bit is. A little bit is. You're not allowed to do the wedge blocks anymore or anything like that. So a little bit is.
for
And
sure.
I actually don't mind what they did in the XFL this year. That onside kick, those kicks to me were okay. They started the players a lot closer.
Mm-hmm.
What up, yeah, man?
Yeah, what's up, yeah, man? Hot Take Hockey, is my voice good now? Let me know about that. But yeah, so this rule that they tabled, right? It sounds to me like half of it is all right, and that half being the 4th and 15 rule, and then the second half, which can you say real quick again? I don't think I like that second half of the rule.
I believe the other team. I don't know exactly where the other team gets the ball, but obviously they're going to be starting most likely in your territory.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But if it's just replacing an onside kick, then those situations, well, the team usually goes for an onside kick. It's not like it happens that often in a game, right? So maybe we won't even notice the change. And another thing I realized is I think the pass interference rule that they were trying out last year, I saw something about they might not even implement that again this year. Do you know anything about that?
I did hear there was like about 3 rule changes they had yesterday, and I believe one of the rules was actually the Eagles actually applied for.
The Eagles out of all teams?
Yeah, the Eagles. I believe they tried to get a rule change, and I actually think they successfully did yesterday.
I'm gonna
There was
have to look
3
into
rule
that.
changes yesterday. I don't remember the exact ones. You'd have to go into the article, but I believe there was 3 different rule changes yesterday.
All right.
But some of them already sound like they were rules to me.
Yeah, a lot of these rule changes that are quote unquote changes that happen in various off seasons have either been already been used and they were testing them out, or like we already kind of knew there were rules and they were never really implemented or something like that.
Yeah.
And what's up to AV Sports and Danny Dimes? Yo, Hub, what's with the title Daniel Jones going back to college? I'll get into that just now. Real quick, OGR. Let's say a hypothetical situation here. With that pass interference rule, let's say they roll it back, right? What was your opinion of the pass interference rule? We're going back basically a year now. You know, when it was first implemented, and what do you think about the way it was used? I think we could both agree it's
Well,
something
you mean
that's
the pass interference rule as far as the reviews?
the reviews. Yeah, reviewing the pass
Yeah.
interference rule. Yeah.
It was shit. Like they never did. How many calls did they really overturn? Like there were some egregious pass interference calls.
Oh,
that
especially for the
should have
Giants.
been called, and then they review it, and then it's just like
You remember that
absolutely
Golden
nothing.
Tate catch that like where the Patriots just absolutely mauled him, and
Oh,
nothing
absolutely.
happened.
Who doesn't remember that?
Jesus Christ! And conspiracy theory again. Straight up, NFL refs hate the Giants, man. There was many pass interference calls that when Shermer threw the challenge flag, and everybody knows I'm not exactly the biggest fan of Shermer, but when he did throw the challenge flag, it's not exactly like anything was in his favor.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like they thought like, oh, look at this weak-minded coach. We can take advantage of the situation.
Exactly. And it's like, but yeah, so that whole rule was kind of just terrible, and the way they implemented it was terrible. I remember, I don't know what the stat was by the end of the year, but sometime during the season, it was like there was 33 of the reviews made or something like that, and only 1 or 2 of them got overturned. So it's like, what was even the point of having it? And I think it's being repealed. Don't quote me on that. But in the hypothetical world that it is repealed, I'll be nothing but happy.
Absolutely, I would be too. But I mean, see, the problem is, do you really want to take the rule away? Or do you just want to put pressure on the refs to implement it the correct way?
I would want to put pressure on the ref to implement it the correct way, because even with the rule there, it doesn't exactly make much of a difference, right? So it's like if it stays, they have to do something, and I don't know what they can do. They got to do something to have these refs, I don't know, do a better job, and it sounds a little bit ignorant of me because I don't know what, the ref training is like or something like that, and it's weird, right? Because on some plays, NFL referees absolutely amaze me. Like the sideline refs, how they could spot in like 0.025 seconds of a play that this guy kept his toes on the sideline. And then on other plays, they can't see blatant pass interference. So it's like it's something that I'm very much torn on, you know?
I'm torn on too. Um, but I mean, I'm sorry, pass interference costed the Saints a chance at the Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and that's unforgivable. And
Absolutely.
I'm not like a Saint sympathizer, but I mean, if that was the Giants, I mean, think about, I'd still be pissed to this day
Oh, the Saints fans are definitely still pissed to this day too.
because I mean, they're most likely, even though the Saints are going to have a good team this year, and I expect them to at least contend in the
This isn't
NFC
even.
South, if
I
not
think I
win
know
it
what you're gonna
altogether.
say, OGR, but I don't think it's gonna be a hot take if that's what you meant to say.
What?
That like I don't think this. I think that the Saints' window for a Super Bowl is closed with Drew Brees at least.
Yeah, well, that Super Bowl is better than the Rams and Patriots too.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, yeah, you bring up a good point there, man. They literally robbed them of a Super Bowl, and I think I don't know if you want to get into it, but if the Saints were in there instead of the Rams, one, it would not have been that low scoring, in my opinion. But it would definitely been a nice battle between Breeze and Brady.
I think Breeze blows them out. To be honest with you, because Brady wasn't on that night either, and maybe it was because of the Rams' defense, or maybe just Brady wasn't on his game that night
Yeah.
for whatever reason. I think the Rams actually. I think the Saints crush him in that Super Bowl.
Well, I can see that happening. You know what? I can see that happening because the Saints have a pretty good defense also. So maybe the Pats do still only score 13 points.
Yeah,
Yo, look at what John Doe's comment. He said he ain't a Saints simp. And then he corrected it to sympathizer. I'm assuming you know the word that has been overused the past couple of weeks in simp, OGR?
oh yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
completely overused, but that's a pretty good joke.
Do you want me to do my do you want me to do my impression of him?
Oh my god, you have an impression? Let's hear it.
Friggin' Sam.
Yo, do you have one for incel as well?
I know I don't.
Ah, that would have been like the cherry on top of the cone, man. That was pretty good. But yeah, so let's shift it back to Giants and to Danny Dimes' question. Why do I have the title saying Daniel Jones going back to college? It's because there's been several reports, and it's true at this point when there's everybody's reporting it that Daniel Jones is headed back, to basically kind of study with David Cutcliffe, and he's basically back at Duke, back at his old stomping grounds, looking at film, not just his own film, but film of everybody, and literally being coached by Cutcliffe again this offseason because he's stuck down there in Duketown, and he's spending time there just improving himself in the film room and all that. And so what do you think about that, OJR? The dude literally is going back to his college coach to improve his mental.
Oh, there's no problem with that. David Cutcliffe is one of the best quarterback minds out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. And quite frankly, I mean, he's probably coached some of the most successful, or possibly most successful quarterbacks in the NFL. Period.
Yeah. You look at Peyton Manning, Eli.
And Eli.
You hopefully you have Daniel Jones follow, and of course I'm sure you guys know Fisk Vegas. He says that DJ is basically Peyton Manning with wheels. And on some point of that, I really do agree. He does kind of look like Peyton when he sits back in the pocket, when he has time to sit back in the pocket, and he slices and dices these defenses. You see some of both of them in DJ, and I mean it's no surprise why when Cutcliffe was his coach.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we all know Daniel Jones is probably weak versus zone, and definitely needs to work on recognizing zone and watching it on tape is the best way to practice it until you actually get into a real game.
The thing that interested me most about this is that I hope it improves his pocket awareness. Because we all know that was probably his biggest problem last year, just pocket presence and knowing when pressure is coming.
Exactly. But you know what? I'm not going to make a big deal. A lot of people are like, oh, you're not going to be perfect as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So, and most rookies have shitty pocket presence. It comes on a lot of job learning. I mean, think about if Eli would have played all of last season and then Daniel Jones would have been starting this year.
He probably would have had the same pocket awareness. He probably would have been fumbling the same amount.
I think we were lucky that we said, hey, this is going to pretty much a lost season, even after week 4. Let's put the kid in there and see what he has. And I commend, that's one thing I'll always commend Pat Shurmur for. I will commend Pat Shurmur and Shula for believing in this kid and putting him in.
And I will
they
commend
have the guts
Shurmur.
to take out Eli.
They did. And I will commend Sherman also, despite him at times hampering the way Jones performed, he still coached him that year, and he was a pretty good quarterback coach, as playing as the head coach, in my opinion, last year. He did give Daniel Jones a pretty good rookie season.
Yeah, and I mean, arguably, and my buddy scoffed at it until I went into the numbers. The other day at work, we had a debate at work, and I was like, "There's an argument they made that Daniel Jones should have been Rookie of the Year," and he goes, "Get the hell out of here with
I
that
love that you bring
BS.
that up because I was
Look at
about.
Kyler." And
I
I was like,
love that you brought that up, Coke, because I was about to ask you, do you think he should have won Rookie of the Year?
had he played 2 more games, yes.
So okay, so you're saying, all right, so tell me why he couldn't have won it with playing the games that he played.
Only because people are going to see people are going to see barely crossing 3,000 yards, having a completion percentage of 61%, but arguably as worse a team, if not as bad, or a team that already had beat us. And not to mention, Kyler didn't even play great in that game. Like, he had some big plays, don't get me wrong, but Kyler did not play well against the Giants. Actually, Kyler, to me, never really played that well against anybody, really.
In the season in
general. When
general.
I watched Kyler, I wasn't blown away. Put it that way.
Neither was I.
And at least when I can point to games last year where Daniel Jones balled out. I mean, obviously everybody knows the Tampa Bay game, but Daniel Jones had a better QBR. Even if it's by .03, he still had a better QBR. He had an 87.7 to Kyler's 87.4, I believe.
And the thing is, right? No, go ahead. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No. I was done.
Okay, my bad. But I was gonna say the thing is, right? Daniel Jones's stats. I agree with you. People are gonna see it, but not realize that he did that in 12 games. His stats, even though he did that in 12 games, you give it to say Dwayne Haskins, who's still. Dwayne Haskins had as we all know, a lackluster rookie season. He did improve towards the end. I want to give the guy some sort of credit because he is also very young. I don't want to kill him before his career is underway. But Dwayne Haskins, Dwayne Trashkins, I'm going to get back to being an objective dude now. I hate the Redskins. If you give Daniel Jones his stats to Dwayne Haskins is in the running for Rookie of the Year. I just find it, I find it ridiculous that basically they didn't even really consider him for the award.
And if people really want to make a big deal about the fumbles, 18 fumbles. Carson Wentz had 16 fumbles. Look at what Carson Wentz even did in his second year. Stop making a big deal about the fumbles. Yeah, the fumbles are a problem.
Didn't Lamar Jackson have a fumbling problem in 2018?
Carson Wentz has fumbled the ball the most in all of the NFL in the last 4 years.
I didn't even know that. You serious?
He's just as bad. He had 16 fumbles in 2016, I believe. Or
the last 4 years, you're telling me Carson Wentz leads the NFL in fumbling the football.
It's pretty darn close. I'm not saying he does.
The fact that he's he's in that conversation.
Yes, he is in that conversation, and nobody says a word about Carson Wentz football.
That's ridiculous, bro. I'm telling you, it might not even be a conspiracy theory anymore. The fact that the media be ignoring this stuff when it's other teams, they hate the Giants, man.
And if everybody wants to know how many fumbles Carson Wentz has in his career, 48.
Jesus Christ. Does he have grease on his hands when he's throwing the football or something?
Yeah, and I never hear a peep out of the media and talking about how much Carson Wentz fumbles the football.
Oh, my God. Yo, that kind of goes back to what I was saying, bro. Maybe Dak is more worthy of that number 1 overall pick in 2016.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously doesn't throw even that many INTs, but I'm double-checking the numbers right now.
Yeah, and while you do that, let me address the chat real quick. OTB says, hot take, Daniel Jones wins MVP and the Giants win 13 games. I would love for that to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'll tell you what. I think Daniel Jones, he will take a step forward, and he's going to make people notice things. I think he's going to be in, like, the top 12 in terms of quarterback numbers, yards, completion percentage, touchdowns, and all that. Not sure if he's going to be in the MVP conversation just yet. Saquon, though, I think Saquon's going to be in the MVP conversation. New York Jets, New York Giants says, officiating in the NFL has been terrible for a decade. Every 5 seconds there's a flag thrown. Yeah, the past 2 years mostly, it literally does seem like every 5 seconds there's been a flag thrown in the NFL.
Oh, no. I mean, these games are painfully long sometimes with all the amount of flags thrown.
Sometimes I really think they throw flags just so that they could have more commercials.
And actually, that's, if you think about it, throwing more flags, now people are probably like, no, OGR, you're crazy. When do people get hurt more often? It's all that start-stop. You don't see, how many people you see going full speed, unless they're pulling a hammy, how many people pull full speed and ruin their career if they're not stopped by somebody?
That's a really good point.
Stop. Your joints aren't not meant to friggin' boom, 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 boom. It's that constant over impact. And when you're even blowing a whistle, I mean, stop real quick, and then you pull something, or you sprain something, or whatever it may be.
That's a really good point. We forget that these guys are humans, and even though they might be at the peak of athleticism for humans, the body is not made. We're not biologically wired to be able to stop on a dime, to go at full 110%, then stop 1 second. That's a really good point. You're putting a lot of stress on your muscles, your tendons, your joints, your bones. You're putting a lot of stress on everything. And then you got sometimes where one side is playing at full speed, but the other might not be playing at full speed anymore because they take some more time to get back up. And the one that's playing at full speed, I forgot who said it. You got guys at the size of refrigerators traveling at the speed of like cheetahs, crashing into guys that are not back at their full percentage yet, and then bam, they get injured. That's a really good point.
Yep. And I mean, maybe somebody should look into that. Everybody loves their analytics. Why don't we look at the analytics as far as players injured in a year versus how many flags are thrown?
That's true. That's really true. Giants Freak has a pretty.
It's crazy. It sounds crazy. Honestly.
It's not crazy because when you actually look in, you don't even have to look into it. We just talked about it at a surface level, and it made sense. I'm sure people in the chat would agree with us. NFL, man, you guys are doing some fishy stuff. Not that you've never done any fishy stuff before. Giants Freak has a
AV Sports has a comment that you might like.
Wentz wins games, so there's no need to talk about fumbles. You talking about that one? Listen, yeah. AV Sports. Wentz, I'm not sure if Carson Wentz be winning games like he did in 2017. That Eagles, until this year, because they lost a lot of their depth, the Eagles team in general has been well built the past couple of years. And the Eagles as a team, in my opinion, has been winning games. But despite all that, even if he was winning the games, you still got to talk about the fumbles because it's still a major problem. You don't want your starting quarterback that's getting paid God knows how much money and a really expensive contract fumbling at an average of basically 16 fumbles a year. I think that's something that needs to be addressed, my guy.
Yeah. Actually, I'll tell you how many fumbles that over a year. I'm at the Greatest Sports, so I'll just open up the calculator on the old iPhone real quick.
Heard. And Kevin
that's 12
Cronin,
fumbles per year.
12 fumbles a year. Still way too much for a starting quarterback that's getting paid what he's getting paid. Cronin, exactly. My next Madden stream, I'm probably going to do them once a week now. So sometime next week, I'll let you guys know in community notes. Giants Freak has a pretty good question way up here. He said, what are you guys hearing about the preseason? We need to figure out this roster. Tons of 7th-round picks, DBs, and undrafted free agents. I am currently not hearing anything about the preseason, but that's because we haven't heard anything about off-season programs being underway yet, except for, New Jersey opening up the state for sports again. What do you think about that? If, let's say, the Giants open up their training camp and whatnot next week, then I would expect preseason to go as usual. It's probably just going to be more cramped.
I don't think training camp is going to open up next week. Training camp doesn't start until about June anyway, right? June or July.
Oh, yeah, I think I meant to say, is it mini camp or OTAs? One of those off-season programs?
Yeah, so it's probably going to be – I'm going to say they're still going to go ahead with their rookie mini camp, and then they'll transition to OTAs, and then they'll give the players a short break between OTAs and getting them back into shape, and then you'll start training camp after that. That's my whole theory on that, and they'll rush that somehow, some way. But I think they'll probably still start with rookie minicamp. Maybe they go right into OTAs, but rookie minicamp's always been a big thing. So
I'll tell you what, I think it's just gonna be a bit more cramped. But if some off-season program starts next week, I think the preseason is just gonna start right on time.
Jesse Bryan, I don't know if Entertaina's going to be live, but what I can tell you is I'm going to be live with Bad Diggity Dizzle over on my channel for the first episode of OGR's Big Blue Courtroom.
Wait, what did Jesse Bryan said? Do we know if... Okay, I'm not sure, and you got to bring me on the courtroom sometime, OGR.
Oh, I was actually going to... I was going to wait till later in the stream, but do you want to come on next week?
What day?
Friday, same day as today. Yo, Rayvon in the chat, by the way.
Rayvon from Virginia, what's up, my guy? Rayvon is actually one of the dudes, and I gotta add more channels to it. You know when you go to a YouTube channel on the side it says more channels? Rayvon is on there because he was one of the first dudes I ever really connected with on YouTube way back, like when I began my channel. You guys should check out his channel as well as OGR, by the way. All the links in the description.
Rayvon's my guy. Rayvon's the best giant shit talker on YouTube. I know a lot of people want it. I know a lot.
Better than Bad Dog in terms of trash talking?
One person's retired, and the other one, well, he's not in the TTC anymore. So,
okay.
Or what's left of the TTC. So Rayvon, to me, is the best shit talker. as far as the Giants go on YouTube.
And
So
Joel, I agree with you. The defense does have to shut down more third and long. And we're gonna come up to that. Let's actually switch the topic real quick because Saquon is another one. As you can see, Saquon going back to college. I don't know if you heard about this, OGR. Before the whole pandemic situation, Saquon Barkley was actually planning to go back to Penn State as an assistant coach to Penn State's head coach. And Saquon was going to go back there for the same reasons Daniel Jones is currently back at Duke. He was going to be there to basically learn how to game plan better, improve his football IQ, and actually teach, running backs a bit more. Don't get up in arms, Giants fans. He's not retiring early. He's doing this to improve his football IQ inside of things.
absolutely, and I'd love to hear that. And I'm a Penn State fan, and that running back room is ridiculous. If you look at the Penn State running back room right now, it's absolutely ridiculous. So, personally, I love. No, it's going to be at 8:30 tonight. New York Mets, New York Giants. But again, that's definitely a thing.
I would let you.
That running back room is ridiculous.
I would let you gush a little bit right now if you want to. Who does Penn State have in the running back room right now? That if Saquon was there as an assistant coach, coaching these guys up, would you be excited to see on the field?
A lot of I believe. I now I have to bring up the roster because there's a couple guys I like, but I'm gonna bring up the roster because it's been a while since I've actually looked at these names. So give me 2 seconds. I know who these guys are.
For sure. So Kane Zong says our offensive set on defense, Zimenez and Carter have to step up. 100% agree with you. I think our offense has top 10 potential. They just have to stay healthy, and the offensive line just has to click. Oh, hold up. Apparently the Skype call disconnected, I'm guessing. OG, are you still there?
Okay, yeah, it cut out for a second. Not a big deal.
Okay, but OGR is back, guys. No worries. So, yeah, the offense is set. I agree. They just have to stay healthy and click, which comes down to coaching on the clicking part, and the defense is where we need to improve. So, you got the running back room pulled up, OGR?
Yes. So, my favorite running backs, because they're running back room, and they're going to have guys transferring out because their running back room's ridiculous. Noah Kane, who played at IMG, and then Academy, I believe, and Journey Brown. A lot of those two guys are my two favorite running backs, and then they have a couple others. Obviously, they have Devin Ford, I believe, also went to IMG Academy, and then they have Ricky Slade. Everybody was big on Ricky Slade a couple years ago, but I'm bigger on Devin Ford, Journey Brown, and Noah Kane. Look out for all three of those guys. That running back room is ridiculously deep. It's probably the deepest running back room in the country, and I'm not even joking.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I think several people have called it basically RBU after, they put out Saquon, Miles Sanders, and other really good running backs over the past couple of years. Lemuel, thank you for tuning in, my guy. Anybody that tunes in, as always, I appreciate you. Hope you have a good night. He has to be out. He said, AV Sports says Devin Ford went to his high school.
Yes.
Really? Eli Penny was effective last year. Hopefully we use the full backs and two tight end sets more. Yeah, I agree. Eli Penny really underrated as a pass and run blocker. Rayvon from Virginia, thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, keep up the good work, OGR in the hub, Giants for life. We all beat, bleed, big blue. And thank you, Rayvon, so much for the $5 super chat. You all know we're going to try our best to keep up the good work, my guys. So, yeah, with Saquon going back he was supposed to go back. What do you think he's going to replace that with? Or maybe you say it's not really that necessary because Saquon, almost all around, there's really hard to pick out flaws in his game.
For me, is the same thing Pat Shurmur preached. Is with Saquon is take the yards that are there sometimes. Sometimes you just got to he tries to do too much. And it felt like he was trying to do too much, especially when he was coming back from that injury.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to take what the defense is giving you.
I agree with you. Sometimes he tries to bounce out a little too much, although he did kind of improve upon that last year when he was healthy. He just needs to run up and run through the tackles, and I know he can do it because he's stronger than he looks. You know what I'm saying? Penn State, basically all the Penn State lifting records and whatnot. And Jesse Bryan, OGR, you are going to be on, Bad Dog's going to be on your episode tonight.
Yeah, it's Bad Dog's going to be on my channel tonight at 8:30.
And what's up to NYG31 and Raymond Manoff? Jay Berman, no need to apologize for being late. The fact that you're tuning in and spending time here with us is good enough, bro. He says, absolutely. I don't comment much, but I do listen. Thank you to you both. Well, thank you to you. You guys don't necessarily always have to comment. You're here, you're showing support. That alone is a lot.
exactly. And you know what? Don't worry about being late. Like, even being on YouTube, like I support the hub. Can I sit there and physically support the hub for an hour of his stream? I would love to, but I got life. He knows that.
Yeah.
And just same like me, if he pops into my stream, I don't expect him to sit there for all hour and a half, or 2 hours, however long I'm going. So absolutely.
Exactly. And thank you to Big Blue Jabroni. He has a new
Oh, can I
YouTube
shout out
channel.
Big Blue Jabroni
Yeah,
real
sure,
quick?
go ahead. He has a new
Big
YouTube
Blue
channel.
Jabroni, brand new YouTuber on YouTube, brand new Giants YouTuber. So check him out. I actually had him not on my channel live, but he asked me for some advice because I've been on YouTube for a little while. So I gave him some advice. Great Giants supporter and great Giants YouTuber. So check him out. It's a little bit different flavor, and you'll actually like. I shouldn't say his gimmick, but you'll like what he does. He does a good job.
For sure. And a Big Blue Jabroni. I'm gonna be on his channel or next week. So you guys definitely look out for that. I'll put it in the community notes and also Twitter. When it does happen, I just have to work out the schedule. But definitely check out his channel and go show him support. He says Giants are going 4-2 in the division this year. I would love for that to happen. I think it's gonna be something more around like 2-4 or 3-3. What do you think, OGR?
Yes, I think 4-2, 3-3 is realistic. So you split with one conference foe, you probably lose two to another conference foe, or you split and split, and then obviously we all know we're beating the Redskins. So
yeah, we're getting two against I almost said Wetskins. We're getting two against the Redskins, no matter what happens.
Do they really deserve to be called Redskins? Maybe they
really
should
don't.
be called the Wetskins.
They're the Wetskins. They always weep and why and cry. Oh my God, my tongue. Anyway, Joel Yaddo says, is there more hope from the coaching staff or what players are doing during the offseason? Fans are amped up this year, but what is the biggest to contribute to the hope? I'm guessing what you're saying. I think the biggest thing would be the coaching staff, even though they haven't proved themselves yet because we haven't seen the product on the field yet. I am really confident in the group that we gathered here, not just on the coordinator levels, but you look at the assistant coaches, the position coaches. We have a lot of guys that have proven themselves before. Really, the only guy that has not really proven himself would be Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator. But I still got faith in the coaching staff because guys under him have proven themselves at the college level.
Also, I wanted to point this out as well. Somebody asked, what do we think is the best draft picks in this year's draft? Or what are our favorite draft picks?
Oh, sure.
I mean, for me, I think both of us are going to say Xavier McKinney right off the hop, and then for me, obviously, Darnay Holmes.
Oh, yeah, Darnay Holmes. And since you brought it up, you know what? We're going to get back to this picture that you see here with the Bills just now. Let me just bring up the secondary picture right now. We'll get back there. Since we're on the secondary anyway, I agree with you. Darnay Holmes, and I do a podcast with Dan from Five Wide Football. I just recorded an episode with him, and he told me, and you guys should check out Five Wide Football also. They're mostly a fantasy football channel, but they put out great stuff. He told me that apparently Rod Woodson and Deion Sanders are in great support of Darnay Holmes, and they say don't be surprised if in 3 or 4 years or so you look back at this draft and Darnay Holmes was the best cornerback to come out of the draft. What do you think about that?
I know that's to me that's crazy, but you know what? If it is, I'll be in all support. I hope it happens.
The reason I took notice to it is because I listen when players speak, especially somebody like Deion Sanders, right? He's considered the greatest at his position of all time. But yeah, I do agree with you. I'm like, I have a lot of faith in Darnay Holmes. I love the fact that we got a guy that was both a speedster, an absolute athletic freak, but it was also an absolute intelligence freak. I keep saying it, graduated college early. Dude picked up chess because he thought it looked interesting. He's smart both on and off the field, and that combination usually means good things, not all the time. But I don't know if it means he was the best cornerback to come out of this draft.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't want to move you along because you had something to say about the Bills real quick. So we can talk about that, and then do you want to just take rapid-fire comments from the chat? Because I know Rayvon's got a question. Probably more people have questions.
For sure, yeah. I'll definitely want to take rapid-fire questions. So the thing with the Bills, right? Let me just get back to that real quick. So the Bills, and this was another thing that came up during the recording with Dan. Apparently, the Bills are opening up their seats to fans during games, but it's going to be a quarter of the fans that they usually have. So they're only going to fill up the stadium up to 25%. And I'm going to assume the rest of the NFL is going to move in a similar motion with this, where they're opening up the seats to just 25% of what they usually do. What do you think about that?
I mean, I'm fine with it. keep social distancing. You're probably gonna have to put a mask on at the game. But my question off of this is, how many of those seats are gonna be for regular fans, and how many of those seats are gonna be for
Season ticket holders?
ticket holders?
A great
What's
question.
going on with that?
Great question. Because the way my boy Dan found out is that his friend is a season ticket holder, and they basically got a message saying that instead of getting 8 tickets for home games, they're getting 2 tickets for home games now. So they're still like basically they're chopping everything into a quarter. So the season
right.
ticket holders, I'm assuming, only like a quarter of them are gonna be at a quarter of the games, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And Bradley, what's
So
up? How you doing? What's up to everybody? I think you know what we're getting a bunch of questions in the chat. I'm fine with just taking rapid fire questions now.
yeah, we'll take rapid fire questions. What up,
So
Bradley? So obviously we'll take that one because that's easy. What up, Bradley? Period.
let me start off with the one I saw because I love to hate on our rivals by Kane Zong. Just a little bit up. He says, I think
Yeah.
people are too high on the Cowboys. Like McCarthy couldn't win with Aaron Rodgers, and the year he left, they went to the NFC Championship. What do you think about that? I think people are always a little too high on the Cowboys, no matter who's the coach.
Yeah, exactly. And the Cowboys, I mean, people feel that the Cowboys underachieve with their talent. And if McCarthy can't turn this team around, I mean, I expect the Cowboys to be right where they were last year, between 8-8 and 10-6. That's where I have the Cowboys being.
Completely agree. And Jesse Bryan, thank you for tuning in, man. Hope you have a good one. He says he got to go keep up the content. We will try.
We had a quick question about Coleman from
Corey
even
Coleman?
up from that for Rayvon wanted to know about Coleman and what we thought.
We need help at wide receiver. Do you think Corey Coleman can finally make an impact this season? Well, we do need help at wide receiver. I don't think Coleman's going to make an impact, though, because let's look at the top four guys right now, right? We got Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton. Maybe you slide Coleman in there at 4, but I would really think that Benjamin Victor, the undrafted free agent, could probably make the team and get slotted into that 4th wide receiver spot. Corey Coleman, and it's unfortunate because he was supposed to be our number 3 guy last year, right? He was supposed to be the number 3 potential number 2 guy last year. I don't think he's going to have that much of an impact just because there's going to be players that might outshine him at the spot that he's gunning for. What do you think?
I mean, he's going to it sounds like they're going to give everybody a chance to compete. And if he's, like, let's say he's obviously probably going to start second team in training camp because obviously you're 1 and 2. So Slayton or Tate or Slayton, Shepard, and Tate are all going to start with the number 1s. He starts the number 2s and balls out against the number 2s. They're going to slot him with the number 1s. I mean, I could see him not overtaking Tate and or Sterling Shepard, but I could see him being slotted in at 4, no problem. And he's probably going to do kick returns. So, yes, he can have an impact on that point.
Oh, on the special teams, for sure, I think he's going to have an impact. But if we're talking offense, I really do think that Coleman, I do think it's going to be one of the undrafted free agents. And I could be wrong, right? Like you said, it's a thing of taking the known versus the unknown. You have a known product in Corey Coleman when healthy. He shows, flashes of being a great impact. But I think he's mostly going to be used on the special teams, which isn't even a bad thing because when he was on special teams for us in 2018, he was one of the reasons we were one of the best special teams unit that year.
Yep. And then Big Blue Jabroni says, who has more TDs next year, Ingram or Smith?
Smith.
I'm going to go with Smith because I think Ingram is going to get injured. And what's going on, Alex Sports?
Yeah, what's up, Alex Sports? I saw that he just tuned in. When do you think Ingram's going to get injured? How about that? At what point in the season do you see Evan Ingram hitting his normal injury?
I just see him being hampered by injury. I don't think it's going to be like any serious injury. I think he's just hampered by a hamstring or something like that, so he doesn't play as well. So I say week 7.
Week 7? Because This is a difficult question for me. It all depends when Ingram's going to be out because we all know that the tight end is going to be heavily used in Jason Garrett's offense. I expect whoever's in there at tight end, whether it's Smith or Ingram, to be targeted in the red zone a lot. So it's tough for me to say. I guess I'll lead Ingram for now just because I don't know when he's going to get injured. And I think just like last year, remember the first 4 or 5 games, Ingram was being used heavily. Like he was getting 100-yard games, 2 touchdown games. I expect him to be heavily used. And so it all depends when this man goes out. So let's see what else. Gates at right guard when Zeitler leaves, as in Nick Gates. Well, we have to see who gets the center job, right? I would really love for Shane Lemieux to replace Kevin Zeitler. And, in fact, I would love for Kevin Zeitler to be on the team for another 3 years or so. I think he has it in him. But maybe it would be Nick Gates. It depends who doesn't get that center job or maybe somebody that we take down the line.
Yep, I agree with that one. That's a good point.
And let's see. Thomas, 4 guy's going to be a stud. You watch. We agree. We completely agree. Kevin says, can you guys show your faces during live streams? Can I show my face during videos? I'm working on that, Kevin. So the reason I'm currently not doing it is because I'm running this live stream from my desktop, the PC that I built specifically to handle this stuff. It's just that I don't have a webcam yet. My webcam is on my laptop, which can't handle this stuff. Like, I have a really bad laptop. It cannot even handle what I'm doing right now. So I'm working on it, bro. I'm working on it. Strength and conditioning coaches are going to be key to getting and keeping guys healthy. From Joel Yada, what do you think about that? We got a really good strength and conditioning coach from Tennessee.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I like what he's done. I mean, I don't know too much beyond what entertainers have covered in his videos, but yeah, I mean, I like the whole coaching staff. So I'm not really gonna have too many disagreements if people are calling out people on the coaching.
Okay, how about this? Other than Coach Chaos, because I know you're gonna say him, who are you most excited for on the coaching staff?
Oh, I already said this in our roundtable. Burton Burns.
Burton Burns, the running back
I want to
coach.
see what he's gonna do with Saquon.
But what?
Because Saquon's my favorite player.
What can he do with Saquon though? Like, let's be real, right? What can he do with Saquon that Saquon has not done? Unless you're talking about just running through the tackles more.
No, I mean, think about it. All these Alabama runners are aggressive downhill runners.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, not to knock anybody, not to knock Derrick Henry, not to knock Mark Ingram or any other Alabama standout. This is probably the most talented prospect Burton Burns has ever worked with.
Oh, I don't disagree with you. That's not even a knock, bro. Saquon's the best running back in the league. Come on now.
So, thinking about what he did with Mark Ingram, thinking about what he did with Derrick Henry at Alabama, what is he going to do with a beast like Saquon? You don't think that with all his experience as a coach at Alabama and being under Nick Saban, that he can't add something to Saquon's game that maybe Saquon overlooked or is not thinking about, something either with strength and conditioning, whatever it may be. I definitely think a man with that much coaching experience can teach Saquon something, or even just make a little tweaks to his game to make Saquon that much better.
This is something I asked Tana when Tana came on too, and since we're on it, I said for a while now that Saquon could win the MVP. And you have a lot of faith in Burton Burns, and in general, Saquon's going to have I expect him to have a great year. I don't want to jinx anything, knock on wood, right? You think with Burton Burns, he's going to have a real chance, a real shot at this MVP that's really been given to just quarterbacks the past couple of years?
See, here's the problem with that. I have faith that Saquon can really do anything in the NFL. I really do believe Saquon could be a 2,000-yard rusher. I believe Saquon, but this is me being a Saquon fan. You have to remember, I've followed Saquon since his freshman year at Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best runs, not best runs in college, best runs period, is what he did against USC.
Okay.
That 79-yarder. That's one of the best runs I've seen of all time. He juked the entire team. Literally juked the entire team. I've never seen, besides Barry Sanders, I've never seen another running back do that. When I talk about Saquon, I gush, and it's hard for me not to gush and sound like it's Saquon Homer. I truly believe he possesses all this.
Yeah.
But even then, I believe a running back needs a Herculean season to even be considered. Think about what Todd Gurley had done a couple years prior.
What was his stats? Let me pull it up real quick. Because Todd Gurley, like obviously last year, McCaffrey was considered for the award, but it kind of died off towards the end of the season. Todd Gurley in 2018 was also considered for it. Let me see what his stats were that year. In 2018, he had 1,251 rushing yards, 580 receiving yards. So in 2017...
Are you thinking about his 2017 season?
Yeah, 2017, he had 1,300 rushing yards and almost 800 receiving yards. So he had basically 2,000 yards from scrimmage. His 2017 year is basically Saquon's rookie year. And then his 2018 year was worse than his 2017 year. And then we all know he's kind of declined since then. I think Saquon can do way better than that with a good offensive line and a coach. A good coach for the offensive line and a good coach for the running back room.
I mean, for Saquon to do it, I believe he needs over 1,500 yards, and he probably needs close to somewhere like 20 touchdowns. And you can put any number you want on the receiving yards. I think he would need over 500 or 600 receiving yards.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, OGR, and now you're probably going to call me a Saquon homer, because people on the channel know Saquon is my favorite Giants player, because when I started, taking the draft seriously and things like that, when I started to actually look into this as more than just a hobby, I guess, was the 2018 draft and when I fell in love with Saquon. But I completely believe this guy could get like 1,600 rushing yards next year and then like 600 receiving yards to add on to that. I think he could. I think he can have that Hercules like season next year.
Dude, I want to see it. I'm telling you right now, I love Saquon so much. To this day, before I go to sleep, I watch Saquon highlights.
You're lying to me. There's no
I
what?
watch Saquon highlights
I've
before I go to bed.
I've never heard that. Yo, are you okay, OGR, bro? You're watching
I'm
Saquon
not.
highlights before
I'm
you go to
not
bed?
okay. I am not okay. My wife just walked in the door. She can tell you live on YouTube I am not okay.
Mrs. OGR Talking Sports, are you still there? We need to know.
They want to know. I don't know if they heard that.
I heard it. I don't
he's
know.
He's not okay for sure.
Oh my God, this man watches Saquon highlights before he goes to bed. I thought I was a big Saquon fan. I'm nowhere near his dedication.
Dude, I have followed Saquon since his rookie year, my friend.
It's that Penn State homer in you. Rayvon says
Huh?
Saquon will finally average 20 to 25 touches a game now that we have Jason Garrett. Thank God. I agree with you. Yeah, that's part of the reason why I said
Honestly,
he could win
I'm
MVP.
putting the brakes on that.
Really? Why? Because Zeke Elliott has always gotten at least 300 touches when he plays a full season. Saquon has yet to get 300 touches.
I'm not saying that he won't, and I'm not saying we won't have an emphasis on the running game. I'm saying he won't get that touches because I do believe more guys in back of Saquon will be put in. Saquon will get the majority of the touches for sure, but it's how
you think we're
going to
use the backups a little bit more?
The rest of the running back room.
Okay. What's up to Mike Nixon? Welcome in, bro. How you doing? John, though, I want to address this real quick. He said, thoughts on Rice and John. Does he make it at tight end? 6'10", wingspan 11.5 inches, hands 32 inches, vert. Any thoughts on him making the roster? It's good that you brought up as a tight end because I'm not sure if he's going to make the roster as a wide receiver. I think, the coaching staff might try and put him at tight end, see how that works out. I don't know if he's going to make the roster, right? Sometimes size isn't, you can't just make it just off of how big you are. What do you think about that?
Mike Nixon says, see, I thought I was the only one. See? I'm touching other people.
Oh, my God. John Doe called you a Barkley simp. Maybe you are, bro.
You know what? Fine. I'm a Barkley simp. I'm sorry.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. I feel the way Odell lovers feel about Odell, even to now, even if they're Giants fans, even though if you love Odell, you're not a Giants fan. That's how I feel about Saquon Barkley.
Okay, that's kind of like one of my mods in here, Ligma. He became a Giants fan because of Odell, and he still is a Giants fan. He's not like he left the fandom, but he came into the Giants because he loved Odell so much, in a way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what do you think about that Rice and John comment? You think he's making the team? What are your thoughts on him?
Rice and John, I don't know. I want to see him at wide receiver first, and then move him tight end if need be.
So
we could definitely use another receiving threat at tight end. Like, let's just assume that we're not going to – Evan Ingram's not going to be a Giant for more than 2 years.
I don't
Who's
think,
behind
him?
Who's as far as receiving threat?
Because we only got Caden Smith in terms of a receiving threat. Is the guy that I loved last year a tight end that we signed as an undrafted free agent?
Kane, I didn't say that Odell wasn't a Giant. I'm just saying if you currently root for Odell, you are not a Giants fan.
Well, I'm not sure if I agree with that, OGR. I still wish Odell the best.
I wish him the best. I'm sorry. When somebody attacks me and my fan base the way he attacked us, I no longer have the respect for you.
Okay, I agree with that. I don't respect Odell anymore. But in terms of, being a fan of him, I think you could still be a fan of him, even though he said, listen, I don't agree with what Odell said, obviously. I'm a huge Giants fan. But I don't know about that. I don't know if you could say if you root for Odell, you're not a Giants fan.
Hey, OGR, would you marry Saquon if he wasn't married?
Listen, if OGR would still marry Saquon to this day, I'm assuming, but I could be wrong.
I'm not marrying the guy. Come on now. Get out of here with that bullshit. I ain't marrying the guy. I love my wife too much.
It's
the
all
only
right,
thing
guys.
I love more than Saquon is my wife. Trust me.
Can we get an answer from her?
Right now, she is currently enjoying the television and eating the food that we are about to eat once this ends.
For sure. And Conrad, that's the guy I was remembering. Yeah, is CJ Conrad still anywhere on the team? Because getting back to the receiving threat at tight end, all we have is Ingram and Smith. And when Ingram, might be off the team in a couple of years, we need somebody behind Smith to back him up.
Mike Nixon says, OGR, I coached against Saquon his senior year. Mike Nixon, what team did you coach with that you coached against Saquon in his senior year? Because,
Mike Nixon, are you talking
my
senior
friend,
year of
if
high
you
school
were in
or
the Big Ten,
college?
which chances are you were, I want to know.
Yeah, that would be amazing. You, that's amazing. That's all I can say. If you're talking about senior year of college,
Yeah, I mean, either his senior year of college or senior year of high school, either one doesn't matter.
yeah, that's pretty. You ever talk to Saquon, Mike Nixon, by chance? I'm sure the dude probably destroyed you. I'm just saying during that game. I'm just saying, man. Uh, John Doe says weak
Honestly,
conference. Yeah, continue.
to be honest, Saquon had a good year in college, but there wasn't a lot of teams he destroyed.
Really?
Like, I mean, he had good games. Don't get me wrong, he had great games,
Hmm.
but there wasn't a team where I'm like, you know what, Saquon won that game single handedly.
Even that USC game?
USC game was his sophomore year.
Oh, you're talking senior year. Okay, I thought you were talking like overall college.
Yeah, like, and they lost. Penn State still lost that game, by the way.
Okay, that's got yeah. You know what that reminds me of? That's like the
That was Sam Bradford. That was not Sam Bradford. Sam Darnold's last year,
yeah. That kind of reminds me of the way you just
or
said.
second to last year. Sorry, maybe.
The way you just said Penn State still lost that game. Okay, so Mike Nixon, you coached for Morrisville High School. That's still pretty good, man. Did you have any interaction with him? But yeah, the way you said Penn State still lost that game, that reminds me of Saints Giants 2015. Giants with the Herculean effort on offense and still lost the game.
Yeah, crazy.
But yeah, if there's any other question, guys, went for about an hour, which is around the time I have. Get them in right now. Otherwise, this was the stream. You know, it was a pretty good stream. Okay, Zon saying, Ingram gets injured because he's too small for tight end in Ole Miss, and he was a slot receiver. I don't know why we don't use him where he's most effective. Was he a slot receiver at Ole Miss?
No, he was set wide out, but he was a tight end at Ole Miss.
Yeah, he was a tight end.
At Ole Miss, he was never asked to block. He was listed as a tight end at Ole Miss.
Okay, I was about to say, I know he was. Yeah, he was a tight end in college, man. Listen, the thing with putting Ingram at receiver is that he loses that like mystique about him. He's gonna be regular receiver speed. And how tall is he? How tall is Ingram? Maybe he's gonna be a big receiver, but he loses what makes him Evan Ingram if he's being placed at receiver. That's what I always say to anybody that says we need to put Ingram at wide receiver. What do you think about that?
I don't think it's gonna happen. I really don't. I really don't. Because even if his hands are, I'm not saying his hands are suspect, but he doesn't have the greatest hands he's gonna have as a tight end, and you're gonna put him at receiver where he's possibly gonna get more targets.
Yeah, I agree with you, 100%.
And
he's
then
he's 6'4". He's not even that tall for a tight end or a receiver, so he loses his speed, and then he's gonna
6'4"
be
is pretty good in the NFL. I'm sorry, you don't need to be 6'5", 6'6". 6'4" is pretty good.
6'4" is pretty good. I think we need a really big dude. Maybe I'm overvaluing height.
I think you are, because wasn't Plexico 6'5"?
Plaxico was 6'5", yeah.
So
He
I
was
mean,
6'5",
what's the
yeah.
difference between the 1 inch between 6'5" and 6'4"? So that's good enough. not to start an argument with you, Hub.
Oh no, I'm fine. Like I said, like I'm all down for recognizing when I'm overvaluing something, my guy, for sure. And Kevin Cronin, here's your wrench, bro. I have no problem with. Here's the thing, though. At some point, I'm gonna stop giving them out because I know, like for example, on Tana's channel, people have been abusing the mods and the wrenches. So hopefully, you guys don't do that. Please don't. Please don't do that.
So New York Giants. He says Nick Gates being used at one position or multiple.
Yeah, he's gonna be multiple. I think Nick Gates is gonna be kind of like how what's his name that we just picked up from the Cowboys at tackle, Cam Fleming. Cam Fleming is being used at both right and left tackle, and he's probably going to be a nice, really good depth backup player. I think Nick Gates is going to be a nice, really good backup player that could be put all over the line, which is nothing but good things.
Mike Nixon, one quick question for you. Did you know that Saquon was going to go to Penn State?
He says he knew he was an amazing player. Well, what schools was he entertaining at the time? AJ Marshall says...
Actually...
What?
I should know the college that he goes to. Ugh. I feel, but he can let me know about that. What other undrafted free agent, not the two wide receivers from Ohio State, do you like?
I really like
AJ Marshall ones.
I like Javon Leake. I didn't like him at first, but I like what Javon Leake could bring with his speed.
I'm gonna go with Javon Leake.
Yeah, I think at the very least he'll be a really good special teams contributor, but I expect him to make the team as a running back. I mean, like
Kane Zong.
With what's happening with Wayne Gallman, I expect him to make the team.
King Zong says tight end means you line right outside the tackle. So you're telling me that you've never seen a tight end split out wide?
Yeah, come on, my guy. Come on, Kane. We've listen. I will
Tight
say
ends
this.
line in the slot all the time, especially now in this day in the NFL. Watch any game with George Kittle and or what's his face for the Eagles there?
Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz.
Yeah. John Doe says weak conference, but John Risen did get 5.3 receptions a game, 86.5 yards a game, 10 touchdowns, 10 games, good numbers. But the athleticism is there. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I'm no pro coach. I'm no pro scout or an expert on these things. But it's really hard to judge a guy like Ryson John because of the fact of the competition he played around. Maybe that translate. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, you're going to find out in the preseason. Ryson John is going to get plenty of time, third, fourth quarter in the preseason to go out there and prove himself.
He's going to have his opportunities for sure.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I think for 100%, I think Joe Judge had a lot to say with the undrafted free agent signings. Because we didn't spend a single pick on wide receiver, and at first, most of the undrafted free agents that we picked up were to help bolster that receiving core.
Exactly. And not only that, and to add depth, because we're not the deepest at wide receiver, especially with losing Latimer.
And we have injury-prone wide receivers.
That too. And it's what receiver can master the route tree the best. Because, I mean, mastering the route tree, that's what made Odell good. Because he can run the entire route tree. Can we get a receiver to run the entire? We know Golden Tate can. We know Sterling Shepard can. And Darius Slayton's going to improve upon that. But what guy 4, 5, 6, and 7 are going to be able to run the route tree effectively, especially if some guy goes down? If your second and third wide receiver go down, your 5th, 6th, and 7th have to step up. Which one of these guys can get open, get that separation and run that route tree effectively?
Exactly. And speaking of, what made Odell and also mastering the route tree, I can't give enough credit to Tyke Tolbert and how much I love Tyke Tolbert, our wide receivers coach. The best wide receivers coach in the NFL, in my opinion. With the guys we have on the roster currently and with the guys, the undrafted free agents, I expect them to make an impact on their careers no matter where they end up.
Yeah, and I'm assuming you want to end the stream soon, so do you want to make Rayvon's the last question?
Sure, we'll address Rayvon's question, and then that will be it for the stream. Do we still have the running back we got from Dallas last season? Oh, Rod Smith, right? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, Rod Smith.
Did he even make the team?
No, he was on the team for a little while. I don't know if we cut him or not.
Yeah, no, he was gone by before week 8 though. I'll tell you that, bro. I'll tell you he didn't last long if he did make the team. But yeah, that's about it. New York Jets, New York Giants. I think we already answered that question.
Yeah, we said multiple, both of us.
Yeah. So I mean, yep, that's about it, guys. Sorry if I'm cutting it short. We had a good amount of people in there. Thank you to everybody that tuned in, everybody that donated. It means a lot. You guys support the channel, and that's what keeps me and OGR going when you guys show up in droves like this to streams. Thank you so much. It was a really good stream. And thank you to OGR for coming on, my guy. I can't wait to get on to the courtroom whenever next Friday.
So it's OGR's Big Blue Courtroom. I know.
That's a long title.
It's hard. OBBC.
OBBC? like as in the British Broadcasting Network? The OBBC?
No, that's the BBC, my friend.
But so yeah, you know what, OGR, plug your courtroom real quick, my guy, because this right here, you guys, if you're not subscribed to OGR, if you're not checking out his content, I'm sorry to say you might be making a mistake. The link will be in the description. It's already in the description. Make sure you go check it out. With that being said, tell us a little bit about the courtroom.
So OGR's Big Blue Courtroom is going to be a show where I bring on a YouTuber like yourself, usually a Giants one, and most likely going to be a Giants one. First episode tonight, I'll be doing Bad Dog Sports. So most of you all know that. I'll ask him questions, how'd you get your start on YouTube, what that and whatnot. We'll talk about, Giants related stuff. I'll ask him Giants related questions, his opinion on the Giants, and then we'll obviously open it up for Q&A because you always have to interact with the chat. That's the biggest mistake a lot of YouTubers make is not interact with chat. So
and I'm guilty of it sometimes.
Live tonight at 8:30 with my man Bad Diggy Jizzle.
Exactly. Make sure you guys check it out, and that's a good point. I'm guilty of it sometimes. Like you guys saw, OGR had to nudge me a little bit to get to interact with the chat. I'm still getting used to it, but he's correct. You got to interact with the fans and show them that they're actually there. AJ, we know each other from just being in the YouTube community. I think the first time we really interacted was on the first roundtable, but just being in the Giants community.
Yeah, it's a fantastic community, and you just meet new people after new people after new people. I mean, that's how I got to know Ravon. That's how I got to know Pizzle. That's how I know Bad Dog, and you just they become close friends. I mean, I could text Bad Dog right now and be like, "Yo, I gotta cancel the stream." Oh, no problem. I'm not going to cancel the stream, but it's
Exactly.
not a problem. The
Exactly.
Giants community is awesome.
It's awesome.
It's the best community on YouTube.
It brings you to guys like OGR said, like a lot of different YouTubers. I'm gonna shout out Big Blue Jabroni. I'm not sure if he's still in here, but it brings you to guys like that, the up and coming ones. I know that David Solo
Online
with
Big
Giants
Blue.
Alliance, Online Big Blue. These are all great guys and great channels that you could check out if you want to. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a pretty damn good community. And he says, no, I don't think he made the decision yet. What are you talking about there, Mike Nixon? In what context?
Oh no. He's talking about the question I asked before if he knew what college Saquon was gonna go to, and he said no, not yet.
Ah. And Afghanistan, oh yeah, I didn't even notice you were in the chat, man. We had a lot of people in there. We got a lot of people in here.
Yeah, I have Afghanistan's one of the best Giant supporter across the dude. Does he comment in every one of your videos?
He comments on most of them.
Yeah,
comments on most of
on
them for sure.
every one of mine. He is my first true Giant subscribers. My first 6 subscribers were all friends and family. Yeah. My 7th was Afghanistan, baby. Oh yeah.
Yo, for anybody looking how to start out, that would like my first 10 subscribers were also like friends and family, bro. You gotta give it to your family and have them share it around the workplace. That's how I started out.
No, Dylan, we're just ending things. We're attempting to at least.
Yeah, it's like we keep carrying. You know what? Final thank you to everybody, the chat, to everybody. What's up, Dylan? I'm sorry you kind of turned in late, but catch the replay. It's going to be great. Make sure you check out OGR. Make sure you check out his OGR's Big Blue Courtroom tonight. Is tonight the first episode?
Yeah, tonight's the first episode. Bad Diggity Dizzle.
The
and, hey,
premiere episode.
And next week, Hub, you're tentative, it sounds like, but 8:30 Friday next week would be the date if you think you can make it.
Well, is it going to be video? Does it have to be video or audio, or is audio fine?
I believe I can bring you in, and I'll let you just do audio, and then it would just be my smiling face.
All right, you know what? I'll book next week at 8:30 for you, bro. You got it.
All right, so you guys heard it here first. Big OGR's Big Blue Courtroom, 8:30 next week. It's gonna be the Hub.
Mm-hmm. And what up to Caden? And I really got to end it. Thank you to everybody tuning in. It went a little bit longer than I thought it would. We got Caden, Kevin Cronin, Mike Nixon, Dylan Renner, Giants, AJ Marshall, Ravon, everybody that was in here. Thank you so much. Thank you.